Hey, yo! How you doing today? So, Nintendo recently sent out invites to the beta of Mario Kart Tour. You might remember them announcing this, like, I don't know, it was last year, wasn't it? It was kind of a long time ago. It was probably one of those things where they announced it, like, when they first started working on it, you know what I mean? Obviously, they've had this partnership with, is it DNA? Dina? Probably DNA. And they finally got the game playable, you know, so they sent out invites. I did not get an invite. I was a little sad about that. Would have been really nice coincidence. But people are playing Mario Kart Tour. They asked everybody not to share photos and information and stuff, so obviously everyone is anyway, and it doesn't matter because how do you expect people to not? So, which is kind of weird. I feel like if you don't want people to share it, don't do it. That's the best way to do it, you know what I mean? This was literally inevitable. They have actually been cracking down on video. Every time someone's like, here's gameplay, it's always removed based on copyright and stuff. But, you know, screenshots, can't do much about that. There's like a part of me that's like, should I be sharing these screenshots? Like if Nintendo didn't want anyone to see it, but I don't know. Like I was kind of worried about that, but then other publications are doing it. Like Nintendo Life's doing it. They shared a bunch of screenshots. So I don't know, whatever. I guess I'm doing it. Sorry, Nintendo, please don't get mad at me. So we have to keep in mind, that any and all of this is subject to change. Like, this is a beta, anything could happen between now and release. Generally, I never expect a lot to change before release, but I can't honestly say I know for sure. For all I know, half the game could be totally different. So, people are playing it. We have an idea now of the basic gameplay. Before, I wasn't sure if it was going to be full-on racing or like, you know, if you saw the video that I did of my ideas for Mario Kart Tour, like, I thought maybe it could be like racing sim kind of thing. But it seems to be a pretty straightforward, I mean, it seemed pretty obvious, you know, now, or at least like in retrospect, that, you know, all of Nintendo's mobile games so far up to this point have been just a kind of simplified version of the series. So Mario Kart Tour is no different. You hold the phone vertically. Nintendo is all about the one-handed play with this kind of thing, just like Super Mario Run. So you hold it vertically and you steer by swiping left and right. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, if you like are swiping multiple times or if it's just kind of like tilting left to right, but whatever the case, you do that and then you flick up to throw an item up and flick down to throw an item back, or you tap or something. Just a very simple one-handed kind of way to play Mario Kart. Seems pretty straightforward, you know, fairly obvious. I do kind of like that more than the idea of like gyro tilting to steer. Never been a big fan of gyro tilting. I feel like it's really just, there's no feedback, hard to know. I don't know, it's easy to overcorrect. Not a fan. So this seems pretty alright. Seems a fairly simple way of playing Mario Kart on a phone. And technically this could just be because it's the beta. I'm not really sure. I'm leaning toward it being this way in the real game. But it seems to be that you are not racing against other people in real time. That is the impression that people have gotten. Like when you cross the finish line and the results pop up immediately. You know what I mean? It doesn't like wait for other racers to go through. It uses very little data. So it's like you're connecting to the server, but for the most part, like you're not pulling in a bunch of information from it. So it does seem to be like you're racing, and you might be racing based on data from other people, maybe like their track times or their stats or something like that, but the CPU is kind of representing them. I'm really not sure, but basically we just know like you're not sitting there racing other people in real time. Totally could change. That totally could just be for the beta to get people used to the idea of the, you know, the mechanics of the racing, and maybe the full thing will be a full thing. I don't know. But like I said, I am, like, if I have to guess, I would say that it's gonna be this way in the final one too, just because it's a lot easier, doesn't rely so much on a constant internet connection, it's a bit easier on your data, it's just an easier thing to accomplish overall. I mean, I do know that Nintendo does like that whole multiplayer aspect of racing cars against other people, but that's my guess, yeah, at least at the moment. So when you dig a little deeper though, that's when things get kind of worrisome. I will say this, I do not judge a game 100% and tell you one way or the other before it comes out. That's not a thing I try to do anymore, especially in a case like this, where this is the beta. any number of things could change, but the information that I have, based on what people have been saying, is worrisome, slightly disturbing. You know what I mean? It just seems to be that the game is shaping up to be, at least in its current state, very, very much a mobile game. You know what I mean? Like, very much the with the microtransactions and the many different kinds of currency. Like, basically, it's two main things. It's you got stamina, which I know is very, very, very common with games like these, is the whole stamina thing. You play a number of games and then you run out of stamina and you have to either wait so long to refill a heart, or you can pay $1 to keep playing, that kind of thing. And it's one of those things where, like, I get it, I get the point, but I also, it turns me off to the game. It definitely is off-putting to me personally. If the game is fun and I want to keep playing it, I don't want to be just like hitting that wall again and again and again. A lot of people, from what I've seen in threads and stuff, have been saying that it's actually fairly generous so far of the energy. Like, I've seen some people say it took them a good long while before it became a problem. And of course, it's a little mobile game, so you're supposed to play it in little bursts or whatever. So I'll just say it's just a little bit worrisome in that regard. That's not the main one, though. The main one, though, is the microtransaction thing, the different kinds of currency, and also gacha mechanics, aka loot boxes. The sort of thing where you open up a random pack of stuff and you might get something great, you might not get something great, and you can pay money to get more of these things, and the whole kind of system it's kind of designed to hook you, obviously. I did go into the concept of loot boxes and my feelings on them in my Animal Crossing loot boxes thing, because there were loot boxes in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and I think they're in Fire Emblem too. I haven't really played that though, so I don't know exactly how they work. My whole thing on them is, like, I am kind of torn. There's, like, the part of me that feels like they are okay as long as they are done in an okay way, because there are different ways that you can kind of psychologically manipulate a person and lead them on and try to coax more money out of them, which is what a lot of these big, cell phone games do. But then sometimes it can be more reasonable. They can offer better rates and, cheaper prizes and better rarity rates and stuff, actually give you good stuff instead of just always leaving you wanting more. So there's, like, the part of me that feels like they can be okay, but then there's the other part of me that feels like no matter what, as a concept, it is designed to manipulate you. It is. Even if it's done better, it wants you to spend and spend and spend. It wants to hook you. Like, they want to manipulate you and take advantage of your addictive personality, you know what I mean? That's the goal. And so it's a little bit worrisome seeing it in Mario Kart. And hey, here's another thing. It could just be cosmetic or whatever, but it doesn't sound like that. So far, it seems like you might, you want to get certain characters with certain bonuses or whatever. Like, the thing that we don't want to happen is for it to end up being like a pay-to-win situation, where the people who win, the people who get the best stuff, the best scores, are the people who spent the most because they got all the best items and abilities and characters or whatever. And it seems like there's, like, a whole bunch of characters, like 30 characters or something. So a lot of different stuff to unlock. And naturally, it's Mario Kart, so probably tons of carts and maybe even parts or something like that. I'm not really sure. So if it becomes pay to win, then that's definitely something I'm just not okay with. Even the cosmetic thing, a lot of people argue that it's okay if it's that way. I would still say it is still designed to be kind of psychologically manipulative, even if it isn't affecting the gameplay. I don't know. This is a whole discussion. So really, we do have to wait and see. And in this case, I am willing to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt, because they have, like, Nintendo is great. They have, like, I have a lot of opinions about it. They seem to have a soul, more so than most big game companies. They have gone on record as saying they don't want their mobile games to get too much money out of any one person. That's crazy. Basically, I mean, like, whales, the people who, you know, like the small percentage of players who spend and spend just ridiculous amounts of money, those are what mobile game companies dream of. That's what they're literally aiming for, because they make the most money. Nintendo doesn't want that, though, because they always care about the user experience and how people are affected and how much people are enjoying their games, and they're like, that's not enjoyable. And I think that's really amazing of them. They have said that. They don't want whales. They don't want any one person to empty out their bank account, whereas, you know, some of these other companies would be wringing their hands together and drooling at the idea of that. Nintendo doesn't want it. So just knowing that, I know Nintendo has final say on this. And if it's too exploitative, too manipulative, they're probably not going to want to let it happen. So, I don't really know. We do just have to wait and see. We have to see if the beta is going to change completely before launch. Again, I'm kind of skeptical, and I don't actually know because I haven't played the game myself, and I haven't been able to get more than kind of just vague details. When it does come out, I will be actually playing it and giving you my full thoughts, impressions, and all that. But right now, I can say it's just a little worrisome. And like, I understand a lot of it to a point, just because, I mean, you know, Nintendo tried the regular pricing model with Super Mario Run, and it didn't work. No one bought it. Nobody wanted to pay a lump sum for a game, whereas, you know, like Fire Emblem and Dragalia Lost and stuff, like with all the different microtransactions, they're the ones making tons of money. That's the thing, is these mobile models of the gacha mechanics and the microtransactions and everything, they work. They absolutely work. They pull in money like crazy. And I don't know, Nintendo might just be looking at that and being like, okay, we need to find a way to strike a balance. The Mario thing just doesn't work. We have to do this at least to a degree if we want these to be successful. But at the same time, they don't want to exploit people. So I don't know, this could just be them testing the waters. Maybe they'll tweak it as they go along. I don't really know. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I don't know if this is the sort of thing where like the beta is like 2 weeks away from launch and they really just wanted to test the servers, or if this is really a thing where they're going to be changing it drastically. So I don't know when the game is actually coming. I get the feeling it'll like stealth drop at some point. Hey, maybe during E3 or something. They'll be like, hey, Mario Kart available now. Whatever the case, head on down to the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Did you get to play it? Did you get an invite? What did you think? Actually, let us know. I'm pretty interested in how you think this whole thing's gonna turn out. What do you think about the gacha thing and the stamina? Let me know. You guys have yourself a great day, and I'll see you later.